Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 93.
On Now You Know. So, Jesse, I'd like you to get some trees for me.
Okay.
Yeah, why don't you just take the whole wallet? I want you to buy $83 billion worth of trees.
How many would you like? How much is that?
That's about 33.8 million hectares.
How big is that?
That's about the size of Germany.
Of trees?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, this is not enough. And also, why?
Well, China did it. In the last 5 years, China has planted 33.8 million hectares of trees, and it cost them $83 billion.
Wow. So, okay, what does that mean in terms of like an environmentalist's perspective? I mean, trees are great. I love trees, but you know, what does this mean in terms of sequestration of CO2?
That is 217 million tons of CO2 being sequestered annually.
Wow. So every year, 217 tons.
Million tons.
Wow. Okay. So how much is that in like gallons of gas? Like, if you know, how many gallons of gas can you burn? How much of that would get sequestered by this Germany-sized forest in China?
Well, let's see, 20 pounds of CO2 per gallon. So that's it's 21.7 billion gallons of gas.
Wow.
That's how much CO2 gets into the atmosphere when you burn that much gas, and that's how much gets sequestered by these trees that we just planted the size of Germany.
So every year...
In fact, let's show you a map of China.
Yeah.
And let's put Germany over that map so you can see.
So that is the land area that we're talking about here.
Yeah. And we're pointing this out because that's a lot of money, and China's dedicating that primarily to lower their CO2 emissions.
It's interesting. Does it make a huge impact?
It's not a huge impact, to be honest. I mean, we looked at it, and it's a small fraction. But they're also gaining all those trees, which is a huge. They're I think the third largest lumber manufacturers in the world. So that's having those forests means that you've got all that lumber.
I see.
And if you have a growing economy and people need houses and so forth, that's good to have too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So fellow YouTubers Sean and Eric recently broke the longest distance traveled on a single charge in a production car, going 606 miles, that's 975 kilometers, in a Model 3.
Wait a minute. They went 606 miles in a Model 3 on one charge?
And our friend Howard interviewed them.
Wow. So at the speeds they were going, because they had to go slow speeds, that's hours and hours and hours in the car.
Very long time, yeah.
And they just went around like a 1 mile thing. They just went all around it 600 times.
That sounds really boring.
And they live streamed it, and they had to keep the hotel in the middle because of the Wi-Fi and just go around and around. Good for them. That's a Guinness Book World Record.
It is. You can see the whole interview from our friend Howard on Patreon. All you need to do is support us for as little as $1 a month, and you'll also get the Patreon bonus stories as well.
Wow.
So sweeten in the deal.
Thank you, Howard. Here's kind of a sad story. This week we heard that Tesla is going to be laying off 9% of their employees, mostly retail sales employees. They will not renew their Home Depot agreement to sell their energy products and get their energy product leads at Home Depot. Just to put this in perspective, Tesla added twice as many people in 2018 as it is now cutting. And 2018 is not even over yet. So it's not like they're downsizing, you know, to extremes. I think they grew just very fast, and they had to get rid of people for a couple reasons. One is, I believe that Elon really wants to be revenue positive in quarters 3 and 4, and I think that by cutting this out of their expenses, they're hoping to do that.
Yep.
Secondly, I think that they didn't see the need to have as many people in the solar departments as they had. Remember, they had already done a lot of cutting before. I think that Elon thinks that when the solar roof fully comes out, that it's going to sell itself, and you're going to buy it by going into their showrooms, and that they're not going to need to do any of the kind of Home Depot stuff or door-to-door stuff. Personally, I think they're short-selling themselves here because Solar City and then Tesla were the #1 solar installer, and then they've given that up to Sunrun and Vivint because they're not doing door-to-door anymore. So in this market, if you're not really pushing people to go solar, a lot of people aren't going to just walk into a showroom and go, oh, solar's for me.
Right.
So I don't know. I kind of feel like they might have been kind of short-sighted in this case.
I think that this is sort of a long-term move for Elon. I think that he knows that most Tesla shorts and, just investors in general don't want to go for Tesla because they're not profitable. If they're able to become profitable by, these layoffs and Model 3 production ramping up, and they can do it, I think, for 2 quarters, it can prove that they can be a profitable company if they want to, and they, and show the investors, hey, it's smart to invest in us because we're actually really innovative and we can turn a profit when we stabilize. I think that that is going to allow them to continue to grow, continue to innovate, because right now there's no way for Tesla to really, they totally could, but there's not a way without a lot of backlash to raise any more capital.
And that kind of fits in with our next story here, that Elon has doubled down, and so has Jim Chanos. So in May, Elon bought $9.9 million, or 33,000 shares of Tesla stock. And then just last week on June 12th and 13th, he bought another $24.9 million worth of Tesla stock, about 72,500 shares, which averaged about $345 a share. So he now owns 33.74 million shares worth about $11.6 billion. Now, at the same time, people like Jim Chanos, who are shorts, had to come out and say something because they're shorting the stock and they can't stand to see it going up. So here's a couple fun quotes from Jim. He said, "The company will pull out all the stops. It will do a lot of one-time items we believe to show a GAAP profit in the third quarter, but they are just that, one-time items."
He went on to say that the basic problem is that he is making cars at not enough of a gross margin to make money, and that's before the competition rolls out, which is late this year and early next year.
Now, I got to tell you something. Again, we were at a car show. We were showing the cars to people who knew about the Model 3 and to people who knew nothing about the cars. And Jesse was giving test rides all day. And I'm telling you, we kind of sold a lot of cars today.
I think that most people just don't really know. Because, it's not an ad. It's not on TV. You don't see it in TVs or movies. It's this whole new, brand new thing. It would be like, learning about horseless carriages when they were coming out. You just wouldn't have any like, what?
Right.
I don't know how it works. But everyone we met, everyone that I showed the car to was impressed.
And let me tell you, I talked to them usually before they got in the car with Jesse. Then I talked to them again when they got out of the car with Jesse. And those were 2 different people.
Yeah.
Basically, after they got out of the car with Jesse, smiles on their faces, wanting to know lots of intelligent questions about, wait a minute, where do I go to get this car? Where's the dealership? And so I think people like Chanos are absolutely wrong. When he talks about the gross margin, yes, the gross margin's low right now because they haven't gotten up to full ramp, but they're getting there as we speak.
Right. And then his before the competition rolls out statement
What
is
competition?
Pretty baseless because, there's the Bolt, there's the Kona, maybe it's coming.
Can I tell you how many people didn't know about the supercharging network? Right. It was the one term when I'd say supercharging network, blank faces, I explain it to them and they go, oh, that's really smart. That's the key here, folks.
Right.
Supercharging network.
There's no real competition for the Model 3 just because of the supercharging network. You need a car that can go long distance. We have, everyone has a car that goes long distance, as long as it has a gas engine. So this can do the same thing. If you get a Bolt, or if you get a Kona, or if you get an I-Pace, you don't get the same thing.
Exactly.
An I-Pace, of course, significantly more expensive than the Model 3.
Oh, don't get Jesse started on the I-Pace.
You can compare it to the Model X all you want, but the Model 3 undercuts all of it.
All right, Jesse, I have this idea for a Hollywood show. This is a TV show. I'm calling it Chicago Boring.
Like Chicago Fire?
Yeah, all those cool Chicago shows that are really big hits right now?
I don't know.
Mine's called Chicago Boring.
So it's about boring under Chicago?
Yeah.
I don't think it'll sell.
Sexy,
it's
huh?
not a marketing boring
It's
really
about these
won't sell.
Tunnel
Boring
company.
doesn't sell.
All right. How about reality? Let's go to a reality show.
Sure, okay.
And in my reality show, we have Elon Musk, who goes into the office of Rahm Emanuel, who's the mayor of Chicago, and Rahm says, I'll give you $1 billion to put a tunnel from Chicago's downtown to O'Hare Airport. And Elon says, I can do that, and I'll do it for no taxpayer money.
Is this still part of the show?
Well, this really happened.
Okay, so it's a reality TV show because this is what happened. So Elon's going to get paid $1 billion for the Boring Company.
Yep.
To
build a tunnel
from downtown to the airport, and it'll be a loop, just like what we've. So So how are they getting $1 billion in payment and not taking any taxpayer money? Because if the city is paying them...
Well, so this is part of an $8.5 billion overhaul of O'Hare Airport. And as we know in America, most airports are these private public partnership kind of things. So they're like private corporations. And so the money comes from landing fees and things like that. So it's not taxpayer paid. The airport needed to do this anyway. They need to be able to get people in and out of the airport, because otherwise, why would you fly to O'Hare? I mean, you flew into O'Hare, I think, a year or two ago, and it was a nightmare for you.
Right. Yeah, I remember a lot of beeping after we were driving out of the airport.
This is going to get you to the airport in 12 minutes. It's going to cost you $25. And get this. It's going to carry 2,000 passengers each direction every hour. So a pod will leave every 2 minutes. And they're going to start at both ends and basically dig to the middle. And they're going to start in as soon as 4 months.
So if you're from Chicago, please put in the comments down below what a difference this will make to your life. I know that you're probably not going to the airport every day, but I'm sure that going to the airport must suck. Imagine if you could get there in 12 minutes for $25. Is it good? Is it bad? Put your comments down below. We want to read them.
And I just want to mention, Elon said they could be ready, the system could be ready as soon as 18 months from now, and certainly within 3 years. And the pods are going to be made by Tesla.
It'll be Tesla pods.
Yeah, so this is another whole big story here. Tesla is going to make the pods. If this tunnel thing works, if they can make the Chicago tunnel work, you know that other cities are going to hire them to make tunnels.
That's very true.
And when you make the tunnels and you also make the pods, that's a whole new revenue stream that we haven't even talked about. That
whole
means
new market.
Right. That's
no one's selling pods right now.
That's, sports cars, SUVs, sedans, semi-trucks, maybe pickup trucks.
Power walls. Solar panels.
Now we're talking about making trains, basically. Some kind, loop trains.
Loop pods.
Loop pods.
I want to call them pods.
Okay,
they're pods.
Right. But I mean, just so people know what I'm talking about, this would be the equivalent of making trains. They're going to be now making loops.
Except
pods.
way faster, way cooler looking.
But it's a thing that no one else is even making.
Right.
They're going to have a corner of the market.
Pods.
Because whenever a boring company makes a tunnel, they're going to hire Tesla to make the pods.
The pods.
Yeah. How cool is that?
Tesla pods.
Yes.
Yeah. It sounds like some kind of like pre-Cambrian sea creature. Tesla pods.
Everyone was talking about this. This is the Tesla Model S that caught fire in LA just on Friday, and apparently it was for no reason, but we are still waiting for more on the cause. So here's some video of it. Luckily, I want to point out a few things. First of all, nobody was hurt. Thank goodness. I also want to point out that 150,000 car fires happen in the US every year. And the last thing I want to point out is that this fire is not an explosion, as many people have said, oh, did you see the explosion? It's not an explosion, it's a fire. If you were in that car, even with this fire going on, you could have gotten out safely. So it's a controlled fire, and we don't know what caused it yet. So let's wait till we find out what caused it instead of just saying, like, it happened for no reason.
Right, because there may have been no collision. That doesn't mean that he didn't hit some nasty pothole with some, piece of rebar sticking up that, punctured one of the cells. We don't know if, he had been tinkering on his car. We don't know any of the details. So until we do, we don't know anything.
And if you Google car fires, you're going to just be able to watch videos all day long because there's so many car fires and no one cares about them because
150,000 cars every year. That's almost as many cars as Tesla has ever made.
Right.
Imagine that. I mean, imagine burning every single one of Tesla's cars.
I don't want to imagine that.
That is how many cars burn every year.
Right.
That's wild.
Speaking of cars that burn, check this out.
Oh my God! It must be an electric bus. I'm telling you, these batteries.
Hey, hang on.
They just light on fire.
Hang
because
on.
They exist.
Hang on, my friend.
What?
This is an Italian ice bus. This is a regular.
So it's a gas bus. Is what you're telling me.
It's a gas bus, and
it was bombed. Terrorism.
No. In fact, this has happened a lot. This is the 10th bus to explode in Rome this year after a short circuit on the bus. In fact, 22 buses blew up last year, 14 in 2016. In fact, it's so frequent that residents of Rome have suggested that public transport poses a greater threat to their safety than terrorism.
So you're saying that these gas buses are just lighting on fire for no apparent reason?
Well, these are old buses, first of all. Ethec, which is the company that's supposed to run them and maintain them, says that 36% of the buses are not even in use because they're awaiting repairs. Most of the buses have reached their 15-year life, and I don't know why when they get old they would just blow up, but they're blowing up. And I just want to pose here that if I was suggesting that you buy buses that just blew up you'd be like, you're crazy, Zach. Why would we do that? But we do that all around the world. Buses, cars blow up when they're gas powered. Not a big news story for most. Did you hear about this in the regular news? Kind of doubt it.
No.
But it's happening, people.
Right.
And if you live in Rome, this is probably just common news to you. In fact, if you live in Rome, please, put a little comment down below. Have you heard about this?
Right.
Do you want to ride the buses there?
I don't know. It's exciting.
All right, check out this new motorcycle, Jesse. This is the Ethec, and I believe it's a Swiss bike. It's got some cool stats here.
So it's got 400 kilometers of range. It's about 250 miles. Now, this is with a 15 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is interesting. We'll more on that later. It has wheel hub motors. It can output 22 kilowatt continuous up to 50 kilowatt hour peak.
What I like about this is that we're seeing all these new startup companies going electric, all these new designs, all these cool engineering projects. It's awesome. I love to see this. I hope that more and more people get on board because, again, we're talking about bikes that do not make a loud noise. They do not put a lot of emissions, or they put no emissions into the air.
Right. They're easy to maintain. They're cheap to power.
Right. And they're powered by usually renewable energy. So all great things. I do want to point out, though, that a lot of these companies, when they put out these kind of stats, it's usually because they've made a prototype and they've been able to prove that that prototype can do certain things. But when they talk about this range, I'm having trouble buying it. I don't want to be negative.
Okay.
But we just did an episode on the Zero motorcycle. And that bike that we tested was a 16.6 kilowatt hour battery, the biggest one that bike has at the moment. And they claim that they get 188 miles of range in city driving, 89 miles at highway speeds of 70 miles an hour.
A larger battery pack, way less mileage.
Now, of course, there could be more energy efficient motors and such, but I'm saying how did Ethec get 250 miles of range with a smaller battery pack and such a dramatically more range than, say, the Zero? Is it because when they state these range numbers, they're talking about maybe city driving?
It could be. It could be that they will be more efficient. Only time will tell. And so that's sort of the problem here. Bikes, it seems, are a little bit behind in terms of, EVs in general. The cars are, there are, sort of the first generation of EVs, EV cars out. And the bikes are just starting to come out. We're just starting to see companies that are actually going to put out a product. And yeah, when you're in sort of this prototype phase where you have, lots of pretty pictures of the thing that you just designed, lots of video of the prototype that you're testing, but you don't have like production models that you can look at in a store, it's hard for you to, as a consumer, to assess, hey, do I wait and buy this vehicle or do I go and get one that I can buy right now?
Right. Very scary story, Jesse. This one is about the ice that's melting 3 times faster. So we just learned that Antarctic ice is melting 3 times faster than before.
So from 1992 through 2012, every year, 76 billion tons of ice was melting.
Wow.
Now, 2012 through 2017, every year, 219 billion tons. That's almost 3 times as much. Overall, the melting of the Antarctic ice caused the global sea level to rise by 7.6 millimeters.
Wow.
Between 1992 and 2017.
That's a lot. I thought that you were going to say a number that was like infinitesimal that you couldn't measure because I'm picturing the entire Earth and I'm picturing how,
the surface
that's in my lifetime.
Ocean,
that's practically in your lifetime.
Yeah.
That's pretty much in your lifetime. It's gone up that much, which I know a lot of people out there are like, who cares? But that's a huge change.
Right. If all of the ice in the Antarctic disappeared, that would result in a rise of global sea level of 58 meters.
Oh.
Which is a little bit larger. It's bigger than we can really show you.
Well, Brent and Bobby,
show us something that's 58 meters tall.
Yeah. Wait, what? Oh, crap. All right, but this is like junk science, right? This is one of those things you saw on BuzzFeed or something, and like someone just did a quick napkin calculation.
No. So this comes to us from 84 scientists from 44 international organizations. They brought together 24 satellite-based ice mass estimates, and basically Antarctica has lost 3 trillion tons of ice in the past 25 years.
3 trillion tons? In your lifetime?
Yeah, and that ice loss has accelerated rapidly over the last 5 years.
This is why we do the show, people, because it's not getting better.
No.
We need to work faster.
It's getting worse.
It's time for the lightning round.
All right. So another thing that's affected by CO2 levels in our atmosphere is rice.
We just talked about ice.
No. This is rice. So increased levels of CO2 in our atmosphere make rice less nutritious. For those of you who don't know, the average concentration of carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere exceeded 411 parts per million in May. Back in April, the concentration hit 410 for the first time in recorded history. These are the highest CO2 levels in the 800,000 years for which we have fairly good data.
Wait, we just hit the highest parts per million of CO2 in 800,000 years that we know of?
That we know of.
And now you're saying that affects rice?
That affects rice. So the more CO2 in the atmosphere, it reduces the nutrients in rice. For those of you who aren't aware, rice is the primary source of food for more than 2 billion people. So this affects protein by 10%. You lose 10% of the protein in rice with increased CO2. You lose 8% of the iron, 5% of the zinc, 17% of vitamin B1, 17% of vitamin B2, 13% of vitamin B5, and 30% of vitamin B9. So these are, nutrients that are good to have in your body.
Wait, and you're saying that 2 billion people in the world rely on rice as their primary nutrition source. So
Right.
They can't just go out and supplement this by eating other things. It's pretty much all they can afford to eat.
Right. So
Crap.
This is a huge problem. And, it's just one of the many problems that global climate change brings. Global climate change, of course, being caused by these levels of CO2. So even if you are like one of those people who are wrong and think that CO2 has no bearing on, what's going on in the environment, often they will use, grains of rice as like, this is how much is in a million parts, and this is how many, grains of rice there are, of CO2. But it will affect people.
Wow.
Even if it doesn't flood the earth, which it will. Even if it doesn't do that, 2 billion people are going to have less nutrition because of this.
Wow. So let's take a look here at the CEO to worker pay ratios for different companies. AT&T CEO gets 366 times the average worker's pay.
Wow.
IBM's 341 times the average worker's pay. Let's go down the list. Intel, Netflix, Amazon, Facebook. Hey, who's that at the bottom?
That would be Elon Musk at 0.9.
Wait, he gets less than the average Tesla?
It's not. This isn't even correct. That's his salary. That's what he's allotted. He only collects $1 every year as his annual salary. So I mean, this chart isn't even correct. It would be his take would be infinitesimally small. He does get stock options, which he can exercise, but he doesn't actually get any take-home pay.
Wow.
So is very variable depending on how the stock is doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think by law he had to get a salary of like $35,000, but he only collects $1.
Right. Okay, so Kia's European Soul is clean.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
In 2017, sales of the Kia Soul amounted to around 12,100.
Okay.
And since 5,400 were Soul EVs, that's nearly 45%.
Almost half of their Souls were EVs.
Battery electric versions. The automaker decided that it was time to go the smart way by ditching gas in favor of batteries. So now there are no gas Souls being sold in Europe.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Way to go, Kia.
way to go, Kia. They're
getting it.
They're starting to get some good moves happening by Kia.
And another company that sounds like Kia, IKEA. They have a plastic ban. So IKEA will ban all single-use plastic items from their stores and restaurants by 2020.
Really?
That's good. Didn't I just tell you some good news?
It's good. I'm not saying that it's not good, but I mean, 2020, you're saying all single-use plastic items?
Yeah, so I mean, they have, in every IKEA, they've got a restaurant that sells the Swedish meatballs, right? And the Lingonberry.
And so they have forks and cups
knives
and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's all going to be...
What
do you have a problem with?
2020, there are companies making electric cars by that date. Companies that don't even want to do that.
Okay, but here's the thing. That's by 2020. So they basically have a year and a half. And they got to source, you got to feed your people the meatballs here, right? So you got to find replacements for all those things, for all the stores, for all around the world. And it's probably being on the shoulders of like one guy, Ingvar. It's his job to go find all this.
It shouldn't
suppliers.
be. I'm just saying, prioritize it. Don't just like have set it on a group of interns to be like, well, go figure this out. And they're like, they're like, are we being paid? And they're like, you're being paid in meatballs. Get back to work.
All right, the first performance all-wheel drive Model 3 just rolled off the factory, and here's a picture of it. And Elon said,
amazing work by Tesla team. Built entire new General Assembly line in 3 weeks with minimal resources. Love you guys so much. Picture of the first Model 3 dual motor performance coming off the line. Very
Nice.
cool. So the first performance Model 3, I am expecting some interesting things to be going on with. Yeah, that's going to be a fun car to drive.
So get this. Remember we talked about that UPS was ordering 50 workhorse vans last March, and now they're ordering another 950 of them from the workhorse company in right here in the U.S.
So they're ordering 1,000 electric vans.
Yeah.
So let's just talk a little bit more about this. So deliveries are expected to begin in September.
Yep.
Now, these are actually hybrids. So these are called the E-Gen by Workhorse. It has a 60-mile Panasonic battery range.
Yep.
And it has a 60-mile BMW Rex gas extender.
Oh, like in the i3.
Basically, just like from the i3. And they throw this all inside of a Morgan Olson body, which is just a truck. And bada bing, bada boom, you have a hybrid van. So I think that this is interesting because Workhorse isn't actually like producing a body. They're not producing any batteries or even the range extender.
Right.
They're basically just bolting everything together.
Yeah, there's off-the-shelf parts, it sounds like, and I think they're using their partnership with UPS. They probably, UPS can say, hey, BMW, give me these parts, Panasonic, give me those parts. So it's a great partnership, I think, and they've got the know-how to put this stuff together. So, and at the end of the day, you've got a 4 times more energy-efficient truck, and you'll save over the 20-year life of the truck $140,000 in maintenance and energy costs.
Right.
So that's why UPS is doing this.
Right. I think that this is a huge move for Workhorse. Way to go. I mean, they were a small, startup company that was making pickup trucks that people would hopefully buy. But now they actually are getting all of these partnerships. I think that it's a really smart move.
Yeah. All right, it's time for our video contributor story, and we're lucky to have our friend Ray in Australia who hopped on the Byron Bay solar train and took some footage. Here we go.
I'm doing an interview with Robert from the Byron Bay solar train, and he's going to tell you all about this actual train service that actually runs between North Byron Beach and Byron Bay itself.
This is the first solar train we have in Byron Bay. We have solar panels on the roof to charge 4 lithium batteries under the train. We originally had 2 diesel engines. We took 1 diesel engine out, and that's where we put the 4 batteries, the traction motors, the gearboxes, and the computers to run the train. Once a day, when it's sunny, we just need to charge the batteries at the North Beach station to just top them up. So yeah, it goes pretty well. It goes nearly all day on a sunny day without a recharge.
All the details regarding this actual train on the inside of the train. So as you can see, there's custom curved solar panels. There's dual electric traction motors. There's also traction inverters for regen. Now they took out one of the diesel engines to be replaced with battery banks, and it's also running on 3-phase. And this is all the details here in relation to the actual train itself. Okay, bye. Okay, here's some more footage for you from inside the actual cabin of the actual driver's cockpit. The locals are so interested here that they've got to stand on the side of the tracks to actually get good photos. Hey guys, so what do you think of the train? You want to come for a ride? Okay guys, now this is the view looking outside the body of the train going down the track, and at this moment my speedo is saying that we're doing around 40 kilometers an hour, and the speed limit is actually 60 kilometers an hour along this section of track. And as you can see, it's a nice lush forestry area, and it's definitely worth the visit.
We just got to ride on a train, Jesse.
That's really fun.
In Australia. It's a solar-powered train.
We weren't there.
No, I felt like we were there.
Okay, right. I mean, this is so cool. We covered this story, I would say, a year ago.
Yeah. Or
6 months ago. Someone will know in the comments section down below. But anyway, so cool that now it's actually being covered like we're a news channel. How cool is that?
I know. All right, it's time for our Patreon bonus stories. Do you know about this, Jesse? If you give us $1 a month, you get to see all of these bonus stories over on the Patreon channel. So just click the link down below. You'll head over there, pay us $1 a month or more if you want to, and you'll get to see. This week we got a ton of great stories.
Right. We also have lots of other perks in our Patreon, so you can check those out. You got cool mugs, and we're working on other fun perks. So go check that out.
All right, we're back from the Patreon bonus stories, and we're going to give our shout-outs now. These are to people who give $5 or more a month to help us out. They do such a great job of helping us, Jesse. Who do we got this week?
We have Charles Bowers,
Michael Regan,
Gabriel Smith,
Carlos Bautista,
Peter Spicer Wensley,
Wilhelm Horst,
Lars Stockholm,
and Michael Dubé. Thank you, guys.
You guys rock.
All right, it's time for Elon's Tweet of the Week. What do we got?
All right, so Corey Hale tweeted at Elon. She said, just how dependent is Elon going to be on sourcing cobalt out of Africa to realize Model 3 dreams of producing 5,000 cars a week?
And Elon responded, we use less than 3% cobalt in our batteries and will use none in next generation.
So again,
boom.
Right. The only argument against EVs at the moment is cobalt. And that is never backed up with, you know, okay, so tell me how good oil is for the environment.
Right.
But finally, you know, 0% cobalt in the next generation.
Yep.
Boom.
Boom. All right, it's time for community mail time. We got a bunch of good, fun things in the bag. Here we go. Our friend Eventos was visiting the Castello di Amorosa, a 13th century Tuscan castle in Napa Valley.
So in California?
Oh, yeah.
So it's not Italian, and it's definitely not made in the 13th century. Based off a 13th century castle design, maybe.
Maybe they carried it over?
But it can be kind of hard to park here.
Really hard to park. Look at this parking lot.
But not if you're a Tesla driver. I love this clip. That is
so awesome.
That is filmmaking at its finest.
Yes. Goes from the castle to the parking spot.
Excellent work, Eventos.
Nice. Now, you remember, Jesse, our friend Kevin, a.k.a. Cloud Liquor, with his Lego Falcon Heavy project. Well, he needed to get over the top and get his 10,000 supporters. Check this video out.
Hey, Zach and Jesse, Kevin Haymeyer here. I just want to quickly say thank you to you guys and all your subscribers for supporting my Lego SpaceX Falcon Heavy Lego idea last month. We just finally hit 10,000 supporters. So history was made. It was the first Lego SpaceX project to ever do so. So now it's in the hands of Lego and SpaceX to see if this project moves forward. If any of your subscribers would like to read my thank you note, they can head on over to Lego Ideas. It's still there. However, the site is locked down, so we moved the party, so to speak, over to the official Facebook page for the Lego Ideas SpaceX Falcon Heavy. That's where everybody can go who wants to keep tabs on the project as it goes through the review process. It should enter the review process September 1st. We were the first project to make this review deadline, but we won't know the results of the review board until about mid-2019. So thank you guys so much, especially the subscribers to Now You Know. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even know about this channel, and I love it. I'm a subscriber now, and I watch every show. Bless you guys. Stay righteous.
Woohoo! We did it.
We did it.
Well, he did it.
Well,
I
yes,
mean, we helped.
We
all
helped a
helped
little
him.
bit.
Thank you, everybody, for supporting him. So now this was the first project to get to this level. We're now just waiting for Lego and SpaceX to hopefully work together to make this project happen.
Hey, if you are a SpaceX employee or whatever,
make it
email
happen.
some people.
Yes, do it. All right, so Martin from Bonn, Germany sent us this video of a thruster on a motorcycle which can save the bike from going out of control in a skid. Now, could this be like the rockets that Tesla Roadster will be getting? Let's check this out.
Interesting. So you can see that...
Now, remember, we talked last week that
right.
the Tesla Roadster can now have the SpaceX option package, which would have rockets. I'm thinking they might look like this.
Something like this. I think it's going to be a little bit more like... I think it'll look different. I think that this is a actual combustion rocket. I think, you know, and the Roadster is going to use compressed air. So probably not exactly the same, but it's the same concept for sure. It's basically, it's holding it from skidding more. It's applying a force that wasn't there. Newton's third law, equal and opposite reaction kind of thing. Like, freaking cool. And if the Roadster can do that, again, you're sliding, like, you know, you see this in racing, they turn the wheel and just don't turn. Imagine just being, you know, and all of a sudden you're back on track.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be insane. And again, use our referral code.
Oh yeah, we can get you in the Rocket Roadster.
We can get you in the Rocket Roadster.
So Jesse, our friend John in the UK went to help out. He helped ferry people in Model X's all day from the event with our friend Robert Llewellyn of Fully Charged. And here is a kind of backstage scene of 4 Model X's doing the Christmas Easter egg dance.
Super fun.
Isn't that cool?
I love that cars have Easter eggs.
And they got them all to do it at the same time.
They did a really good job. Yeah,
hard for me to get it to do it
once.
Our friend Fabrizio reminded us about the Plug-in America battery survey that you can take if you drive a Tesla Model S, X, or 3, or even the Roadster, and the Nissan Leaf or the Toyota RAV4 EV. So go fill out your survey and help fill out the data to show people how the batteries do. And our friend Ruben in Germany showed me this some photos from last month of this horrible thunderstorm, hailstorm that happened in Wuppertal. This was look what you're seeing here, Jesse, is 5 billion liters of rainfall in a single day in a single city. It was the highest amount of rain ever recorded in city history. In the large park in the city center, which is like the Central Park in Manhattan, the rain washed away 1,000 tons of gravel and earth from the park paths. That's just one thing it did. It just And when we talk about climate change, global warming, it's not just heating the earth, it's also what it does to our weather patterns.
Right.
And it creates these crazy, crazy dumpings of water in places that are not ready for it.
Right. I mean, we're used to seeing floods in places like Louisiana and Florida, and, you know, hurricanes hit there, and that's what it does. We are so not used to seeing this in Germany.
Yeah. So it's time for our Patreon viewer comments. And this week we asked, what percentage of the time do you use Tesla Autopilot when driving on the highway?
Right.
And here are the results we got, which are pretty interesting.
Right. You can see that 44 people said between 76 and 99% of the time. So that's the majority was basically almost all the time.
I think some of our data was skewed because some of people told me that they put never, even though they didn't mean never in that sense. They meant never like they don't have a Tesla. So that's
my
fault. I should have changed the thing. But really good data here because it's showing that, wow, I mean, only one person uses it between 26 and 50% of the time. Only 4 people between 1 and 25. So we're talking most people use it 50% or more.
And 11% of the people said always.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a lot of people using it a lot of the time. All right, it's time for our Supercharger video reviews. Kind of my favorite part of the show usually because we get to see all different parts of the world. Take it away.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. We're at the North Hills Supercharger in Raleigh, North Carolina. We are here for our first supercharging in our new Tesla Model 3. Actually, it's her Tesla Model 3. There are a mall right here, the North Hills Mall. It's got Target, a bunch of food court, and all sorts of other stores, along with an RE. Easy off of the highway. So come visit us in Raleigh.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. Welcome to the Louisville Supercharger. It's pretty easy to get to, but if you're coming from the east going west, you'll want to be in the left of the 2 turn lanes so that you have an easy left turn to get to the supercharger. It's located on the campus of Sullivan University. There are 8 stalls which deliver, according to PlugShare, 90 kilowatts or better. There's an exclusive offer for Tesla owners over at the Sullivan Bakery, which is associated with the university. However, it doesn't have very good hours, so instead I'd direct you across the street to the Gardner Shopping Center. First, there's Heine Brothers Coffee, which is a local coffee chain. It's pretty good. It also has decent food to eat and bathrooms. Next, there's Preston Arts Center and Rainbow Blossoms, Rocky's Panini and Pizza, as well as Buckhead Bar and Grill. And if you go around the corner, you'll find a small West African restaurant called Funmi's Cafe. There's also, if you go past Goodyear, an El Nopal Mexican restaurant, Subway, Krispy Kreme donuts, and orange leaf yogurt. There is a sign that talks about a walking path. This is what that walking path looks like. It's only about 0.6 miles. If you want a good walk, I'd suggest you head out on this sidewalk and follow it. It goes about a mile. I really shouldn't give it a rating since this is the only Tesla supercharger I know. However, I'm biased, so 10 out of 10.
Hey guys, we are at the new supercharger near Athens, Georgia, northeast of Atlanta, relatively close to the University of Georgia. This thing is so new that some of the charger stations don't even have their numbers on the base yet. Looks like it's a 10 stall with one pull-in slot and the rest are back-in slots. It's in a nice area. This is a shopping center. You've got a Best Buy and a Sporting Goods and a PetSmart or Petco. I guess it's a PetSmart. Several restaurants around. Down that away, nothing like super convenient walking distance, but way down that away, there's a Cheddar's and a Bone something grill. Really good seafood there. And then over in the other direction, you've got a Thai fusion kind of place, maybe a barbecue place. There's several others around. And also down that away, a movie theater. So if you're hankering to watch a movie, you can stop and do that. Might have to be a quick one to avoid the idle fees. Anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a video update on this one. It's nice to see them rolling out more and more.
Awesome. Remember, you can make your own supercharger / Tesla destination charger.
You don't forget about the destination
review.
chargers.
And all you got to do, take your phone out. If you see a destination supercharger, you can do this already. You can just take your phone out.
Yeah, you don't have to be Martin Scorsese.
You say, okay, here's what's around here. There's a hotel, there's a diner, there's a park.
Move slowly with your camera.
Yeah. Don't do this. That's dumb. Don't do that. I did a bad job.
And yeah, and it's wonderful. And just our website is just filling up with so many cool places. And if you're going for a drive, go to our website, check out what you're going to encounter.
Exactly what you're getting yourself into.
And there's some good tips on there. All right, it's time for the new superchargers that have gone online this week. What do we got, Jess?
We got the 8 stall in Kennebunk, northbound Maine.
There's also going to be southbound coming soon. The number 405 in Europe, the 10 stall in the Ribeira de Pena, Portugal.
And number 1,276 in the world and 530 in the US, the 8 stall in Wallace, North Carolina.
Nice. Small number, but still good.
Still growing.
Now, you remember, Jesse, that last week you talked about Be Free, which stands for businesses for rewarding Elon employees.
Right. Crazy idea. We're asking people to basically give Tesla and SpaceX and Boring Company and Neuralink and OpenAI, lots of people, just free stuff, and great deals, basically.
It's coming true, Jesse. Check this out.
No. They can't possibly be
First of all,
it's a crazy idea.
It is a crazy idea, but it's working. And we got our awesome IT guy, Nick, to make our website work, and it's working.
And we have a working website. So you can head over there. If you're a Tesla employee, we already got deals for you. Got deals lined up for you.
Here's one we're going to feature today.
Yeah.
This is from Mythical City Games. You're seeing here that this is a cool virtual reality game, but they got tons of cool games there.
Right. So they said, we would be honored to be part of this and can offer a free Steam key for any one of our video games to all Elon Musk employees. Our games are available for Mac, PC, and VR platforms and include Skytropolis, a vertical city building simulator. It's a VR game.
Wow.
Honestly, I want to be honest. When we first were like, oh, it's a software developer that makes games, I was like, is it an app game developer? Like, is it Candy Crush? It's not Candy Crush. This is a full VR game. It looks awesome. And you can build sustainable mega city skyscraper things.
And that's just one of many games they're offering for free to Elon employees. It's working,
awesome.
Jesse.
This is awesome. So again, if you own a business or you know someone who owns a business or you know that you can offer a deal or you can talk to someone at your job.
And this can be a tiny business. It can be a little bike repair shop. It can be a mega corporation.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
All you have to do is go onto the website, offer something, and
boom, you're there.
Boom.
And if you want to, shoot a little video about it, and we might feature it on the show.
Absolutely. So I want to give a big special thank you to Mythical City Games because they can offer this to basically all Elon employees because it's a Steam key. It works anywhere in the world.
Yeah, and they're awesome for doing that.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
You guys rock.
thank you so much for watching the show and supporting us and subscribing and sharing us on your social media. If you want to support us, you can also use our Amazon affiliate link. And that just means that you go to Amazon like you normally do, but you click on that link first before you go to Amazon. It brings you to Amazon. You buy your stuff. It doesn't cost any more. And we get a few pennies for it.
Right.
Which helps support the show.
If you want to support us more than a few pennies, you can head over to posterenvy.com. That is a poster website that we made ourselves. It's our, you're a small business, so
yeah.
That's one of the beefy.
Oh yeah, our
things.
got Curiosity poster there of the Curiosity rover is.
It's great for a classroom. It's great for a dorm room. It's great for a gift. So if you're thinking of like, how can I support the show without being a Patreon or
another way to
like
support the show.
Yeah.
You like these T-shirts we're wearing?
Ooh,
aren't these
look
really
at
cool?
that.
These are from SFSF, and the link is down below. You go to their website. There's a lot of cool designs that they've got, and some of the money from the shirts will go to us, and you'll get a cool T-shirt. So it's like a win-win.
Win-win-win.
Win-win-win. And they're really cool designs. So I urge you to go check them out.
Also, don't forget that we're going to have a rocket roadster. A roadster with frickin' cold air thrusters on it. It's going to be the craziest thing that's ever happened. We're afraid to drive it. And we haven't even seen what it can do yet.
But we want to drive you in it.
We want to drive you in it. And just, picture how ridiculous that's going to be. You're going to be the talk of the town.
But how do you get in this roadster?
All you have to do is buy a Model S or Model X. So I'm not saying that it's nothing, but if you were thinking of buying a Model S or Model X or you're interested in it, you can use our referral code to purchase your vehicle. That means you get free supercharging for life. And we will come to your house in a roadster with rocket thrusters on it, and we will sit you down in the passenger seat and we'll blow your mind out of your face. So if that's interesting to no one else is doing this, by the way. There's no other referral code is going to get you this.
Plus, I don't
perk.
think many of the other guys are going to get the full SpaceX option pack.
We're going to get it. It doesn't matter. We're going to get that.
Sign us up.
We've
making it.
We've already earned enough that we're going to have our roadster.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is just sign up, use our referral code, and we're going to blow your face off with a rocket car. Thank you so much for watching this show. We hope that you enjoyed it. If this is your first time watching the show, hit the subscribe button. We come up with this show every week. We have an in-depth that comes out every week. We have a vegan cooking show where we cook vegan food and you get to learn how to make it. So we also make things about other Tesla and electric car things. We have some interviews coming up with some very interesting people.
Awesome interviews.
They are going to be awesome. So definitely stick around, check those out. Put a like on the video. It does something to the YouTube algorithm that makes other people see this video, which is cool.
Or just share it on your social media.
Or just share it, because maybe share it with a friend who you know is a good person.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. Now you know.